if people actually could do what they want, they would find meaning. People want meaning. The fact that they can't find meaning, that it's called nihilism. If you're depressed by that fact, one, you don't understand nihilism correctly. But two, like it means you have a longing for meaning. It means that if you thought you could find meaning, you would find it. But no, there's no meaning, so now I'm just going to go do whatever I want to. Um, but that leads to poor results. And so if you're a scientist and you get poor results, it means you're doing a bad experiment. I mean, if you want a world where everybody's at everybody else's throat and nobody cares and there's no meaning, then but there is meaning and there's a longing for meaning. So where do we hang that? Traditionally we've hooked it into God, or we've hooked it into, I don't know, ritual, or whatever it is. We've hooked it into something, and those hooks don't work anymore. It's another thing I was writing about in my newsletter. I think I published this one, but the kind knife, everybody on Substack. Um, about it feeling like a cargo cult. You know, are you familiar with the term cargo cult?
Oh,
I think it was during World War II in the Pacific, I think, but it was definitely during a war, and there was like a there was a base, there was an army base on an island with very primitive, well, I don't want to say very primitive, but with very mythic ritualized lifestyle native folk, and they would see. I don't know the history of this, so this is more a cultural meme or a fairy tale. I'd
I
have to
think I
actually
have
do
heard
some
of this.
research. But like they would see the people calling on the radio and having the supplies get dropped in. And so they started building their own radios out of like shells and bamboo,
Yeah.
and they would call the ancestors, and they would ask the ancestors to bring them a supply drop.
Yeah.
Um and I think there's a lot more to there's a lot more correctness to that view of the world than I think we give credit for in the West. These people are held up as ignorant and just sort of aping the trappings of civilization, which is what I'm pulling from as the metaphor from the story of like I feel like that's what like we did that in regards to the divine and meaning for so long. We sort of
Hmm.
just acted out the behaviors. We didn't try and understand the thing the behaviors were pointing to. We didn't try and keep that sacred alive and fed in our society. We thought we went from being able to do it at some point to thinking it kind of doesn't matter. We don't really have to take care of it, and we're good enough with all this science stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, we'll still go to church and whatever. And over time, the we stopped feeding the sacred with our attention. And so the sacred left. And then all of a sudden we're like, Nietzsche, God is dead. We've killed God. How are we ever? You can't kill God, but we've killed God as a symbol
Hmm.
of things we can hang our meaning on and get that sort of spiritual nourishment from that we actually need as beings in the world.
Yeah.
Um, and then we say, oh well, there's no meaning. It means nothing. I can do, life is there's no point to it. There is a point. We have to discover it. We have to nourish those things to have them show up in us.
Mm.
Otherwise, they stay in the unconscious and they fade and they die. That's the purpose that I see of religion. That's the purpose I see of God, of all that stuff is it was a culturally shared means of generating meaning
Mm.
and feeding people on that level that they need to be fed.
Mm.
And because we stopped taking care of the structure that provided that, we now think that it's impossible because we can't generate it ourselves with our own numbers. But it doesn't come from that part. It comes, we're
Mm.
talking Ian McGilchrist, left brain, right brain. It doesn't come from the left brain. But because we can only do left brain, we
Mm.
think that what the right brain is possible of doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's what nihilism is often taken to mean. I think, and I sort of hinted at this earlier, I'll be real brief as I have been talking for a bit, but I think I do want to just say that I think if you take nihilism 100% of the way, it can be very freeing and not in a destructive way. It can be very life affirming
Mm.
because if there is no inherent meaning to anything, then you have nothing constraining you. And that doesn't have to lead to immoral acts. If
Mm.
you genuinely don't feel constrained, if you're not acting out of, oh, this world is a dark place and it is, there is no hope, and therefore I will kill a man because I can just kill a man, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, if you're paying any kind of attention, you're not happy. That's not what you want to be doing. You're acting under the 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 assumption that there is supposed to be meaning and
Mm-hmm.
you are deprived of it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore you have a right to act out. You're a victim of something.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that's hanging on to there being meaning in
Mm-hmm.
that particular scenario. If you truly believed there was no meaning at all, you wouldn't need to kill somebody because you wouldn't need to prove that there was supposed to be meaning. And if there was meaning, then I wouldn't be killing this person. So because you've taken meaning from me, I can kill them. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go do that. You haven't gone all the way into the nihilism yet. If you
Mm-hmm.
can really genuinely understand that, like, there is nothing, there is meaning, and we can generate meaning, and we can feed the sacred, like I was talking about earlier. Um, we can generate that ourselves, and it is nourishing for us, and it creates a healthy society, and it brings a lot of benefit, brings a lot of creativity. Think of like the Gothic churches. Like it creates something beautiful. It's where beauty comes into the world through us. And that's a great thing. There's no set structure that guarantees that meaning. That's what real nihilism is to me. There's no there's no formula. You have to go and discover it yourself. You have to create it yourself. You have to generate it with your own love and your attention and your intention and your work. And as you do that, you are nourished and you create nourishment in the world and you feed other people and everything can kind of grow. And if it's beautiful, and that's where meaning comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But if you expect meaning to just be handed down to you in a book and you read it and you're like, okay, now I've got the meaning, you're in the marketplace. The magic dies. It's not there. And because we only know that marketplace, we don't know how to generate our own magic. We don't know how to feed ourselves. And then we complain that we can't do the thing. We complain that it doesn't exist. And that's what we mistake as nihilism.